Chapter 11 Chapter 10 Traitor. It was depressing day. Itachi barely escaped Ichigo and her new powers. His arm was bleeding and his face bruised. He blocked the stab to the chest with his and barely escaped. Ichigo laughed and had retreated into the UFO, and Itachi was bleeding onto the street. How could she do this? Itachi said, but could not think, was bleeding too much. Itachi! Came a cry. Itachi turned and saw Ryo and passed out. When he awoke, he was in Ryo's bed, and Ryo was bandaging his bloody arm. What happened? Ryo asked, concerned. Itachi sighed and felt sad. Ichigo, he whispered. Huh? What about Ichigo? Ryo whispered. Itachi opened his mouth to talk but went because his face hurt. Ow, he groaned. Don't move, dummy, Ryo said and moved into Itachi's face to check it. Thank you for helping me, Itachi said. Ryo shook his head. Don't mention it, you're my brother. That's what I do. P. Itachi smiled sadly. Ichigo, he said again. Ryo took Itachi's shirt off. I'm going to wash these, they're bloody. Itachi said, please don't go. I can't be alone right now. I have to tell you about what happened to Ichigo. Okay. Ryo crossed his arms. So tell me. Itachi shut up and leaned in to tell secret. She... Stop babbling and tell me, Ryo said. I think she is with aliens now, he said, emotion thick in his voice. What? Aliens, said Ryo. Itachi was on the brink of sad. I don't know what to do. I think I detail love her. Ryo shook his head and pats his shoulder. Everything's going to be okay? Ryo said quietly. If Ichigo is evil, we will get to the bottom of this. Ryo sighed. He did not like seeing Itachi this vulnerable. I just miss Ichigi, Itachi said quietly. Ryo said, I know, but don't move. You're hurt. Let me take care of you for now. Lettuce came in the room. Guys, Ichigo left a letter at the cafe. Ryo was like, what? Show me. And Lettuce handed him the letter. It was written in blood. The letter said, I will kill all of you, and was written in blood. If you don't surrender to me, signed Queen of the Animas. What could this mean? Said Ryo. It's Ichigo, Itachi said with his teeth grit. He looked angry and his eyes were red. Lettuce blushed and put her hand on Itachi's hand. She wanted to touch his hand. Are you angry? Lettuce spoke. Itachi shook his head. No, I am fine. Let's prepare to confront Ichigo. Ryo hugged Itachi. Ryo, we can do this all together. Lettuce joined in on the hug because she wanted to hug also. Itachi, let's get to the bottom of this. Lettuce, right. Ryo, right. To be continued. And the description just says, okay. WOOF WOOF, Power 12. Chapter 12. Everyone was eating chicken at Cafe Mew except for Ichigo. It was a kind of cloudy day, and the rain fell like tears into on the roof pot. What will we do about Ichigo? Sakurai asked to Itachi, who stares sadly. I don't know, he said, but we better do something fast. Maybe we can go to the alien shop where she is, Pudding said, outing Nutella on her chicken. Mint said, ew. If we could get ups there, we wouldn't be sitting here now, would we? Itachi said. He felt bad for the snapping, but Hri was just really upset. Let's capture her next time she attacks, Mint said, which Lettuce agreed by nod. I agree, said Lettuce. I don't want any effort in this, though. I am scared for Ichigo, said Lettuce, and Ryo is upset about it, so I will stay here for Ichigo. But we need your help, said Ryo and clenched his fist. Itachi is right, said Zakuro. We do need your help, Lettuce. Later, they were setting up the Mew tank to get ready to go out. They loaded the tank with bombs and grenades and Hot Pockets, LOL. I think we are ready, said Mint. Hands on her hips! Zakuro put her hands on the controls of the Mew tank. Are you Tiwo ready? She asked. They were sending on planning Otachi and Mint into space to save 𝚑𝚎𝚑𝚕𝚒. Wait, said Rio as he opened the door and came into view. Lettuce and Pudding said, what, Rio? And Pudding said, yeah, what? Rio said, you need spacesuits to survive in space, except Mint because she is a bird and can survive in space. Lettuce and Pudding got out of the tank and Rio gave Otachi and Mint and Zakuro spacesuits. Zakuro's was purple and showed her dog tail and was a dress. It had black sequins on it. It had black gloves and black high boots and a big glass helmet, and goggles that were red and a thing on her mouth that helped her breathe, and it was attached to a tank on her back that had air in it. She had a red belt with a wolf brooch. Ashi had a black space boots and a turtleneck to keep her neck warm and face. Mint wore a fitted blue bodysuit. It was glass helmet and tank, and Mickey had a matching glass helmet and a blue bow on tail. Why is your dog going into space? Asked Ichigo. Mickey goes where I go, said Min. Otachi was wearing a black spacesuit. His wolfy sword had been converted into a wool laser gun, and he had a tongue ring. They all got into the Mew tank and prepared to launch. Are you ready? Asked Zakuro. They all nodded. Zakuro: Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Blast off! The three lefted the atmosphere into the space in search of Ichigo's alien shippy. Bracket TBC. And the description is smiley face. Now the real Actoin is 𝚘𝚘𝚒𝚘𝚕. Chap 13. Chapter 13. The Unlucky Chapter. Space is a big enigma. 𝚘𝚑𝚒𝚎 was in deep thought when they we in the space. The stars glittered in the distance like glitter across the blanket that enveloped them. Otachi stared out the window solemnly. What's worrying? Mint asked the kid, walking up to Otachi. Zakuro was in the cockpit driving while Otachi and Mint were in the back room. Nothing, Otachi whispered. They were in the one of the cabins. It had a table and a bed. Otachi was sitting on the bed. I hope everyone will be safe on Earth, whispered Mint. We will have a long trip to find the spaceship of the alien, said Otachi. I know, said Mint. The map says it's several days. Okay. Meanwhile, in he cockpit with Akuro was driving. They also had a space monkey with them. Period. The monkey was named Coco, and it was teaching Zachary had to drive the plane. You need to use the steering wheel like this, said Coco. Okay, said Zakuro. Back with Otachi and Mint. Mint was sitting on the table next to Otachi, patting his shoulder. Mickey was floating nearby in a dog spacesuit. LOL. Are you worried about Ichigo? Mint said. Yes, I am, said Chi. I used to have a et that reminded me of Ichigo, said Otachi. Oh really, what was it? Said Mint. It was a cat named 𝚘𝚘𝚎, Otachi frowned. Mint, OHG, what happened? It died. I'm sorry, Mint said to Otachi. Otachi shook his head. It's okay, things happen, but I don't want these things to happen to Ichigo like 𝚘𝚘𝚎. To be continued. And the description is, I likely tangled the movie, XD. Chapter 14. I wrote this PNM break. Spring break. Ooh. Chapter 14. My heart will goon. Everyone was gloating in space to the destination. The destination was the UFDO. Later on Earth, Pudding and Lettuce were managooing cafe while Rio watched. Bob the hamster was with Rio earlier and they just came in the room. "We've come with a good idea for you to fight aliens with while they are gone," said Rio, holding up the hamster machine. "Boob has powers now," Lettuce said. Bob flew around and it was true. "Yes, he can help you fight aliens," said Rio. "That's great," said Lettuce. "Now we have a fighting chance," said Pudding. Lettuce and Pudding took Bob to fight their powers at the park. There's aliens always happened at the park. When they got to the park, an alien happens. Lettuce and Pudding transformed. "Mew Mew style, Mew Mew phrase, Mew Mew power on your facey," they said. Pudding jumped at the alien. The alien was a giant wombat, lol. And it acted hewer and slammed against the tree. "Oh no," said Pudding. "Lettuce, come on Bob," said Lettuce. "We have to help Pudding." Bob said okay. Bob looks like Hamtaro. Bon and Lettuce flew towards the wombat and said their powers. "Ribbon Lettuce flash at," says Lettuce. "Bob Lettuce pound," said Bob, and the wombat screamed, "Ow!" "OMG, it can talk," said Pudding. Pudding was free from the aliens and kicked it and fire on it, but 3 more aliens, these times the aliens were rats and snakes and spiders, came up from the ground with teeth. Attacked all of them and it hurt and they were pinned down and in pain. "Now you will destroy your pesky Mew Mews," said the spider alien, and it leaned down to graze its lettuce teeth on sharp face, and Lettuce was sad and it was gross. Suddenly a flash of red light and hit the monster, shattered away, and they all exploded into piles of blood and bones and spider parts. "What was that?" said Boob and Pudding and Lettuce. They turned and saw a boy standing there. He had long black hair and black eyes and ale skin like the moon, and he had fangs. Black outfit. He looked kinda like Otachi, only evil. He grinned and walked over to the girls and the hamster named Bob. "Hello," said the boy. "My name is Ciel." Lettuce stood up. "Did you just help us?" she asked, and he just nodded. "Who are you?" said Pudding. "I am Ciel, and I am friends of vampires. I am the Prince of Vampires, the Prince of all vampires." "There's no such thing," said vampires. Lettuce and Bob agreed by nodding. "I beg to differ," said Ciel, the Prince of all the vampires. "Due to you would come in handy for my plan to cuz the WOOF WOOF is off the planet." And he raised his hand and the girls screamed and it went black. TBH. And the description is just, I wrote this P&M break, spring break woo again. Chapter 15. Chapter 15. The Prince of all the Vampires. The blonde vampire boy rose from the sky and had big bat wings as he carried Lettuce and Pudding off into the sky, leaving Bob there alone. What had happened was Bob said to Rio that here's how it went. They turned and saw a boy standing there. He had long black hair and black eyes and ale skin like the moon, and he had fangs and black outfit. But he looked kinda like Otachi, only evil. He grinned and walked over to the girls and the hamster named Bob. "Hello," said the boy. "My name is Ciel." Lettuce stood up. "Did you just help us?" she asked, and he just nodded. "Who are you?" said Pudding. "I am Ciel, and I am friends of vampires. I am the Prince of Vampires, the Prince of all vampires." "There's no such thing," said vampires. OG Lettuce and Bob agreed by nodding. "I beg to differ," said Ciel, the Prince of all the vampires. "Due to you would come in handy for my plan to cuz the WOOF WOOF is off the planet." And he raised his hand and the girls screamed and it went black. TBH. "So that's what happened," said Bob. "Okay," said Rio, "so they got kidnapped by the Prince of all Vampires. He said this is not good. If only Mint and Ōtachi and Zakuro and Ōtachi were here, said Keiichiro. But Mint and Ōtachi are still trying to get Ichigo back from Tai spaceship, said Bob. Rio said, Bob, you and I will get in my motorcycle and we will go off to find the kingdom of all Vampops to get them back. Rio got on his motorcycle and gave Bob a tiny motorcycle helmet, and they got on the motorcycle and they went off to go find the kingdom of all the vampires. Later in space, Sakura was sleeping. Mint and Ōtachi were sitting and drinking tea and wondering when they would get to the aliens. I'm worried, said Mint. We've been in space a long time. Are we lost? Yes, said Ōtachi. That's a relief, said Mint. As long as we stay on course, we will be fine, he said. Zakuro's asleep. Who's driving the plane? Mint asked. Coco the monkey, said Mickey, and Eve T1 laughed and Mickey barked. Mickey. We are almost there, said Coco, but she had the wrong destination, and they crashed into a planet. Where are we? Said Mint. I don't know, said Ōtachi. Get behind me, and took a step out onto the planet. This is the moon. I think the Moon Kingdom is here. That's a relief, said Mint. I'm going to stay on the ship. You two look and see if there are any clues, Zakuro. The two of them nodded, and Ōtachi and Mint went to explore the surface of the moon. They looked around and saw bare land, and it was a long time before they saw anything. I can't see the ship anymore, said Mint. Maybe we should head back. No, said Ōtachi. I think something's here. Then it began to earthquake and said, It's an earthquake. No, said Ōtachi, it's a moonquake. And they fell into a crater, and they fell deep, deep into the center of the moon, to be comped. And the description just says, lettuce. Chapter 16, Zakuro in Space. Chapter 16, Zakuro in Space. Ōtachi and Mint fell forever into the moon. Mint screamed and clung to Ōtachi, and who hugged her and said it will be okay, but was unsure. Mickey barked and was sucked into a tube. Oh no, Mickey, said Mint. Oh no, Mickey, said Ōtachi. They went to get him, but Mickey was gone fell. He landed in the center of the moon with an oomph, but it didn't hurt that bad because there is no gravity in the moon. Where are we? Said Mint, standing up and brushing off her dress. We are in the moon, said Ōtachi. He stared and he knew what he had to do. There were crystal sand castles and waterfalls and portals. What is this place? Said Mint, mystified. Ōtachi said, I don't know, and they stepped toward the city in the moon. I sure hope Mickey could be okay, Mint said, sad. Ōtachi said, he will, and let's keep going. And they went, and it was a beautiful place, and they were greeted by mysterious people that looked like crabs. What are these things? Said Mint. They are moon carbs, said Ōtachi. Aliens. What? These aliens don't look like the other aliens, Mint asked. Well, everyone is different, Mint, said Mint. They probably think we look funny. Haha, we are the aliens here. I guess so, said Mint, and she thought about it and was good with the idea of the moon rab aliens. Maybe they are okay. Are they friendly? Hello, said the big guest crab of them all. He had a blue shell and a barbed wire crown. I am King Crabold, this my city. Who are you? I am Ōtachi, said Ōtachi, and I am Mint. Who are you? I am a WOOF WOOF from Earth, and she is a Mew Mew, said Ōtachi. A WOOF WOOF and a Mew Mew, said King Crabold. That is not welcome here. You are the reason the aliens like Kish and the other aliens are trying to take the moon over. What we did not know, said Mint. You will be punished, get the wizard. The King Crab Wizard came out. Tie them up, get the fire, they all chanted. There is no fire on the moon, said Mint. But we are not on the moon. We are in it, said 𝚘𝚎𝚎. Oh no, Mint cried. They tried to run. Mint fell and sprained ankle. Mint, said Pitachi, and pulled out his wolfy sword, and the crab put the fire near Mint. Burn them, said the wizard crab. No, yelled 𝚘𝚎𝚎. He jumped in front of the fire and punched it away with his wolfy power. I4B protect Con Mint, shouted 𝚘𝚎𝚎 as he sprang towards Mint with his wolfy sword. Mint gasped and 𝚘𝚎𝚎 valiantly fought away the crabs. Just then the crabs pushed them both on their backs. Thank you for saving me, said Mint, but it looks like we're done for. Just then they heard an echo. It was loud and sounded like a roar. The crabs were scared and retreated into the city. They took their evil fire with them. What was that? Said Mint. I'm scared. 𝚘𝚎𝚎 stood up and laughed. Those crabs were well done. It was only Mickey. Mickey, said Mint. Mickey, said McD. Mint and Mickey hugged, and they went back up to the spaceship on the moon where Zakura wait alone before and now drive them off. She had fixed the ship. Now their journey continues. To be continued. And the description for this chapter is, okay, I need to draw Ciel Rant LOL okay smiley face. Chapter 17. Chapter 17. The Vampire Kingdom. Ciel dragged the girls off to the Vampire Kingdom. They screamed and Kiki cried into Lettuce's arms as they flew. What is happening? Lettuce screamed and cried. Where are you going to take us? I'm tracking you to the Anima Kingdom, Ciel said, King. They got to the kingdom and Ciel put them down. You two will be nigh brides, he said and laughed and smirked with evil intent. Your brides, Lettuce asked. Why do you want us to be your brides? Well, I only want one of you to be my bride fee. Ciel smiled evil, and suddenly the ground started to shaking. What is going on? Said Pudding, and the roof collapsed. Lettuce was now separated on the other side from Pudding, and Ciel was alone. She could hear the voice saying, Now you must leave, Lettuce, and Ciel laughed, for Pudding will be my bride. Oh no! Lettuce screamed. It was then that Rio and Hamtaro pulled up from the motorcycle next to Ketis. What is going on? Rio asked. Ciel, the king of all the vampires, will marry Pudding, Lutus said. He trapped her back there, she said and pointed to rocks. But she will run out of oxygen in there, Rio yelled at the cave. Bob began trying to move the rocks, but they could only slowly move them slowly. Letus and Rio helped by move the rocks away, but... During in the cave, Pudding and Ciel sat together. Pudding was scared. She was so scared her face looked scared, and she looked at him, and Ciel laughed and said, What's wrong? Are you scared? Use, said Pudding. I am scared. Why are you keeping me here? How old are you, Desu? I am 401, said Ciel, old enough to be married. What about you? He grinned with vampire teeth. I am too young to be married, said Pudding. I am like 12, she gasped. What did you do to Lettuce, Desu? She got I on my way, said Ciel, the Vampire King. I know she would come between us and our marriage. That's not fair, said Pudding. How come I don't get to say in the matter? Because in my society we betroth people you don't get to choose. Why would you get to choose who you marry? He said. Marry is for politics. Politics are boring, said Pudding frown. Ciel listened and, You will learn I will treat your politics of the Vampire Kingdom. We will need to run it together, my queen. I am not your queen, Desu, said Pudding, crossing her arms. Lettuce was going to save me. Well, see about that, said Ciel. My butler will take care of her. Your butler? She asked, scared. Ciel laughed and grinned, and his teeth glistened in the moonlight. Yes, he said dangerously. His name is Sebastian. Outside of the cave, Rio went off with Bob to go get powder drills, and Lettuce looked nervous at the cave and said, "I have to help, I can't just stand here. I will save her," and she went to the castle and snuck inside. Around the castle there were suits of armor, so Lettuce thought it would be a good idea to steal it and wear it, so Lettuce has armor and a sword. "Now I can blend in," said Lettuce. She snuck stealthily through the couch and eventually came to the tallest tower and the tallest tower. "This must be where Pudding is." She slammed the door open with her shield and went inside. Pudding was toed up standing there. Ciel, the king of the vampires, was next to Pudding, and his arms crossed he looked upset and angry that Lettuce has decided to burst in at the moment they were there. "You are ruining my wedding," Ciel said. "Lettuce!" Pudding cried. Lettuce held up her sword and felt brave like when she rode the roller coaster. "Let her go," she said, brave. Ciel grinned and said, "I don't think so, she is staying," and shot a laxer at her. Lettuce dodged, but the ceiling opened up and thousands of bats poured in. The girls screamed, but Ciel laughed evilly. He was a maniac. Lettuce said, "No, I will never give up," and tried to fight the bats. Pudding was crying. Ciel grinned and watched as the happened. He girls were suffering, and he said, "Ha ha, it is futile. You see, I am the prince of the vampires, and that gives me power over this kingdom and all its creatures. You see, I grown lonely from my 400 years of solitude, and I require a wife. It is fitting that I take Mew Mew for wife, and ever since I saw Pudding, I knew she was prefect. She is young and energetic. But Lettuce, is you proved to be brave, and I underestimated you. I bought you here because I thought I could intimidate you and make you tell the other Mews not to come to fight me, but it seems you are here to fight me by yourself. Well, never mind, it doesn't matter, my bats will eat you soon. And it's too bad, Lettuce, because your talents could come in handy in my vampire army, or maybe even make a good second wife, but for now, you defined me, so I must destroy you. It's touching to see you trying so hard. In fact, I almost feel bad having to destroy you. You see, when I saw you first, I thought you would make a good wife before Kiki, but you were too shy, and that damned Otachi, you had eyes for him, didn't you? But it never thought to give me a chance. It would break my heart to try to pursue your lovely Lettuce, so now you die." And the bats attacked again. Lettuce dodged and hit Ciel in the stomach with the back of her sword. He fall back, and Lettuce looked down angry. "Your reasons are stupid," aid Lettuce, frowning with anger. "You are grumpy and pathetic and am taking pussing home. I hope you stay alone forever, you twisted little man." Ciel was shocked. Lettuce never spoke like that ever. Feeling defeated, he called his bats off. Lettuce was about to, but first Kiki said, "Lettuce, stop." "What?" said Lettuce. "Don't hurt him, he is sad and alone. Don't you know what it's like to be alone?" said Lettuce. "Yes, you do," said Kiki. "Think," and Lettuce thought and knew it was true. She felt sympathy for the prince of the vampires all. "I guess you are right," said Lettuce. "He shouldn't be punished. Let us go." Lettuce stretched her hand out and said, "We should be friends gently." "No," Ciel flinched. "No, lovely Lettuce, you and Pudding go. Don't look at me. You see, I am a monsterer. I realize what I have done, noble Lettuce. And there's nothing I can do to attain for my sins. You must live, and I must not see you beautiful. My heart aches for you two. Leave now before the rest of the vampires decide to attack. I shall be in solitude. I shall not think that we shall meet again." "Okay," said Lettuce. Lettuce and Kiki left but felt sad. Ciel was alone in his tower. "We should come visit sometime," said Kiki. Lettuce thought maybe, she said. Just then Rio and Hamster came up. "We brought the drills," they said. "No need for drills." Lettuce shook her head. "Come on, it's time to go home." To be continued. And the description says, "I think the next chapter will end the space saga, smiley face. Well, see, maybe 2 chapters, lol. Chapter 18. Chapter 18. Illusions. Mint was sitting in the bed. Oh, she thought, I am so 𝚠𝚎𝚘𝚕𝚒 that Ōtachi saved me from the moon crab people." She blushed and hugged herself. Mickey was sleeping on the bed. Mint had a crush on Ōtachi, but now she had thought that his feelings had gotten in deeper for him. "I think I am in love with Ōtachi, Mint," she said to Mickey, but Mickey was asleep, so he didn't reply. Mint sighed and wondered about what was happening on Earth. Maybe I should call Rio. So she got up and grabbed the phone and dialed, but "Hello," said Lettuce when she picked the phone up. "Hi, Lettuce," said Mint. Mint. "Oh, hi, Mint," said Lettuce. "Is everything okay?" "Everything is fine, Lettuce," Mint said. "How is Space, Mint?" Lettuce asked. "Well," Mint said. She stopped and paused to think a bit about what just happened. Should she tell Lettuce about all the things happen? She decided not to because it would make Lettuce worried. She paused. "We had some tough stuff, Lettuce, but things worked out in the end, Lettuce. Can I tell you something?" "Yes, what is it, Mint?" Lettuce said. She paused. I have feelings and it's important. I don't think Ōtachi has the same ones. I think he still likes Ichigo." "Do you think he still likes Ichigo, Lettuce, even though she is evil now?" Lettuce paused. She knew Mint H had a crush on Ōtachi, but Edis also had a crush on Ōtachi, so it was Luik speaking to her rival in love. But her heart softened and she understood. "No, Mint," Lettuce said. "I think Ōtachi may not like Ichigo anymore. He has been through a lot." "Oh, okay," said Mint. "Thanks, Lettuce, for listening. I will talk to you later." "Okay, Mint, call me later. Bye," and Lettuce hung up the phone. Mint was still unsure. She wanted to talk to Ōtachi, so she got up, but then the intercom rang out. Zakuro said through the intercom, "Guys, we're going through a space hole." "Oh no," said Mint. She gasped to the control room where Zakuro and Ōtachi and Coco and Mickey were trying to get the ship under control. Coco had taught Mickey how to use the controls. Mickey was a good pilot, but it seemed he'd got them in a jam they could not get out of. They warped through the space hole into the black hole. Ōtachi cursed and grit his teeth. "Girls, are you okay?" Zakuro frowned. "Great, now we are way off course." The light flickered and went off, and now we have no power, said Mint and Zakuro. Ōtachi said, "I'll go check out the controls down below." Mint said, "Okay." Ōtachi went down to the controls where the steam and billow. It reminded Ōtachi of when he was younger and pretended he was on a pirate ship, but this was much more technical. Then he saw smoke coming out of the generator. Oh no, and there was a dark shadowy figure. It morphed and he saw 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎, his cat! TBC. The description says, "Here is illusions, smiley face." Chapter 19. Chapter 19. A Mega Surprise. "What are you doing here, 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎, Ōtachi gasped. "You are supposed to be dead." Ōtachi nodded. "Yes, dead. Why are you not dead?" And 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎 said, "I have been revived and I am here to help you," Ōtachi said to Ōtachi. Ōtachi said, "I better let the others know," so him and 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎 walked to the control room. Mint said, "What is that?" Zakuro said, "Yeah, what is that?" "Mint is its miracle," said Ōtachi. 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎, I told you about 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎. Well, Sire 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎 is alive. Look, and he pointed to 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎. Mint looked and thought, "This is amazing. We are in space. How did that happen here?" "He must be a stowaway," said Zakuro, and she went to grab the harpoon. Ōtachi grabbed 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎 and said, "No, he is a good cat. He will be a friend to us." And Zakuro put the harpoon away. "Are you sure it is 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎, said Coco. "It could be a head crab spy." "Or a mirage demon," said Coco. "Yeah, a mirage demon," said Mint. "You're right, it is a mirage demon," said Zakuro. "I think we should harpoon it," and she grabbed the harpoon again. Ōtachi got mad and shouted, "It is not a demon! 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎 is my cat, and here's he to help us." "That's right," said 𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚎. "I am here to help you look for Ichigo." "How did you know about Ichigo?" asked Mint. Ichigo is important to Earth, and I am guardian of Earth, said 𝚑𝚘𝚐𝚎𝚑. What, no way? Said Itachi. That's amazing, 𝚑𝚘𝚐𝚎𝚑, said Itachi. Itachi, it is not true, said Zakuro. I think we should harpoon him. Put that away, said Itachi, and he grabbed the harpoon and he threw it out into space. No, my harpoon, said Zakuro. Then she transformed and now she can't catch whales. Sometimes then the alarm went off. Alien, it said. What will we do? So they went to see where the alien was coming from. The screen came on and it was Megamon! TBC. And the description just says, hi. Capcut 20. Chapter 20. And there's not actually a title for Chapter 20. Okay. Itachi and Zakuro and Mint looked at the video screen and saw a blue alien with a big head. I am Megamind, he said. But you are an alieny. You answer our enemy, said Mint. No, I am not, said Megamind. Okay, said Mint. What do you want? Asked Zakuro. I am here to relay important information to you two, said Megamind. And what is that info? Asked Itachi darkly. I can beam you to Ichigo's ship. It is vital importance, and then I will leave you alone, said Megamind. Really? Asked Mint. 𝚑𝚘𝚎𝚑 would be so helpful, said Mint. Will everyone step on the transporter and I will warp you all to the shippy that Ichig's on, Megamind said with intelligence in his voice. Itachi and Mint and Zakuro and Coco and Mivki all stepped on the teleporter and Megamind hit a button to warp them away. They were pulled through light speed space and it was warpy and they felt stretched and condensed. They suddenly rematerialized on the alien ship that had Ichigo. 𝚑𝚘𝚎𝚑 jumped out of Itachi's arms and looked around, then looked back at them. We are here, 𝚑𝚑𝚎𝚑 said. I know Ichigo is here for sure. They all walked over to the big window and saw Earth out of it. So she was this close all along, said Zakuro. Mint was breathtaked by the beautiful blue earth and gasped. Her brown eyes sparkled and twinkled like emeralds, and she said, It looks so beautiful. Me too, said Itachi, but no time for the earth. We gotta go transform to find Ichigo. Right, said Mint. Mew Mew Zakuro, Metamorphosis, said Zakuro. She transformed by spinning around and her outfit turned on her skin and she grew dog ears a tail. Mew Mew Minto, Metamorphosis, said Mint screaming. She transformed by backlet dance and grew blue wings and tail on her back. Woof Woof Itachi, transform, yelled Itachi. His outfit formed on his body and ears came out. His tail was already out. Suddenly, Mint's and Zakuro's outfits changed colors. Mint's changed to black and red and Zakuro's turned black and purple. What just happened? Why are we changed colors? Mint asked. It is because you are in space, said 𝚑𝚑𝚎𝚑. That doesn't make any sense, said Zakuro, clutching Coco. It is the alien ship's doing, said 𝚑𝚑𝚑. Never mind that. Let's go save Ichigo, said Itachi. They all walked through the UFO halls and looked for TBC. The description just says, am writing the next chap now. Smiley face.